Hello everyone. Of a new drawing of Namor, sorry, as he as they pronounce it within the movie. But then again, even in the movie, they pronounce it Namor or Namor. Like the character himself pronounces it as Namor, but then everyone else is calling him Namor. So it's like a bit weird, but also a bit funny in the sense that we have all experienced that. Like if you've got a certain sounding name that's not part of the other people I've grown up with, it does happen. But anyway, here's me drawing, and well, it's like this is a pose or the scene that I've wanted to draw since we saw it in one of the trailers, or was it the TV spots? Yeah, I think it was one of the trailers. Personally, I don't really mind watching these trailers. Like, it's like I'm okay with spoilers with certain movies, and I don't want too much obviously, but I'm okay with seeing certain visuals. I don't know why. I'm just like I've been sort of okay with it. Like, doesn't really, me personally, doesn't ruin the experience. It sort of just gets me more amped, or prepared to, okay, I can't wait to see this in the big screen. So but yeah, it's when Namor took a step back during the attack on Wakanda. He took a step back. It's a very quick, quick scene, and just before he's attacking the ship, that one of the Wakandan ships. And I thought that was, it's like it looked really cool, obviously. And then one additional things was that it's not, I don't think it's something we've seen a lot of superpowered superheroes do. Maybe the Flash has done it in the CW series, and I think they did it with Spider-Man in Civil War as he's sort of landing on his feet during the airport battle. But it's not something we've seen a lot in midair, and it's one thing that I've always thought would be cool to see, like someone like Superman or some other character, like maybe Wonder Woman, like doing this certain action, stepping back during like mid-flight within the action. It adds so much. It looked cool, obviously, and then it would add so much to them. Like, oh, they're like things are getting really serious, right? That's what it felt like when I watched that scene in the trailer. And obviously, when you see it in the movie, it looks amazing. I'm just glad it finally happened, and I got to finally see something like that. So I thought it'd be a very, that imagery has been in my mind. So I thought, okay, it'd be a nice drawing to do, and I just finally had the proper time and motivation to just go all for it and start drawing. Obviously, I've had a few problems because I'm like struggling to make it look good, or just the proportions are off, or like something was really irritating me. Like one of the things about the drawing was irritating me was the face. Like, I just couldn't get the face right. Like right until the end, I didn't want to commit to drawing it properly or whatever. The face right, the angle, and plus it didn't look like the movement was done right. And I've spent so long trying to fix it. Hopefully, you don't see it as much, but hopefully you can notice that. But yeah, I am glad with the final drawing. I'm glad I did it. Now it's something I know I can do, and maybe I can push. Every drawing, you just have to keep pushing yourself to do better. I really love the movie, and obviously I've had my problems with it. But one thing is like, Namor was a better Black Adam than Black Adam. I liked Black Adam. I loved it. Like you've seen and heard in my previous videos. But the thing that really annoyed me, it's a thing I knew I would feel once we saw Wakanda Forever with Namor, is that he'd most probably be the better antagonist, like the better anti-hero, and definitely was. Like, Ryan Coogler and his team really did an amazing job bringing him on into the live action and introducing him into a wider range of audience. And, especially with casting Tenoch Huerta, I want to say, I'm probably pronouncing his name wrong. Hopefully I'm not. I probably am. But yeah, casting him in the role, and then bringing in the Mayan and Aztec influence onto Namor. Like in the comics, his design is pretty basic. He's just wearing a green underwear. So, and they stuck to that, and then they just added more to it, and I thought that was a pretty nice aspect. Like, that brought another layer where it enriched him and introduced him into the world. Plus, you sort of bypass the Atlantean similarities with DC's Aquaman, right? So that was pretty cool. Like, they're like, okay, we'll just go this one way and we'll go deep diving into the culture. So I'm kind of glad Ryan Coogler went the other way, and his team, they went and said, oh, we're going to do Namor and Marvel's Atlantis this way, and we're going to call it Talokan, and I thought that was pretty cool. It was like amazing, and it really differentiates itself from DC. The fact that the wings on his feet flap like mockingbird wings, yeah, I thought, okay, that isn't something I thought of, because in the drawing that's not what you look at. Even in animation, I don't think they've done that. But then to see that happen in live action, you're like, that looks so cool, and it just makes sense. It doesn't put you off, and it just works. And plus the way they had him moving about, we saw it in the trailer, then obviously we saw more of it within the movie. Like, they really made him into a threat, And the fact that they didn't have anyone really mock his wings, like, you know, he's got wings on his ankles, like baby wings, and no one was making fun of it. I thought that was such a cool thing to do. Like, Marvel could have easily have went one way, and we've seen them do that before. It's one of the reasons Captain America didn't have wings on his like helmet. Like, you know, I think they just thought it might look goofy and they didn't want to go that route, which is cool. At the time, it's fine, but you know, it's something that would be nice to see. And the fact that Ryan Coogler and his team was like, plus I guess the MCU is at a stage where they could do that, but it's just like you're creating the world, and you're not, you know, you're sort of skipping certain stuff because you think it might look goofy, or they're making fun of themselves because they think the audience might think it's goofy. But it's like, it's just weird. Like, you're the big franchise everyone is coming into. They really made Namor a threat. They really stood their ground and said, nah, we're going to take it seriously. We're going to present him as the villain. Like, you know, not a villain, I guess, more of an antagonist of the movie. And we're just going to really go about it. And it was so cool. And it's like everything about him, like the way he acted, the way he was speaking, the dialogues he was saying and stuff, are absolutely lovely. His role in the story was so good, which also made me annoyed because I'm like, we missed out on seeing two kings battling each other. You know, like with T'Challa versus Namor. But you know, life took its course, and it's annoying, and the reality is, but I do appreciate the fact what the movie did. Like, you know, what Ryan Coogler and his team did, they tried to pay tribute to Chadwick Boseman as much as they could. Throughout the entire movie, they did that, right? Even though when it felt like, oh, we're gonna go to the story now, there was still elements of where through Shuri or through her mother they were paying tribute to him, and the way that everyone was acting, right? You're like, is this the actor really, like, you know, the actor's emotions coming through, or is this the story, like the actor is acting, or is this real? Like, you know, in a way it was very cathartic, but it's like it really worked for me, you know. And like I said, like, obviously seeing Namor was amazing, plus the fact that they actually said mutant, and he himself said it, so it's like so cool. Like, you know, that's literally the first mutant saying the word mutant, like in the sense where, you know, the first Marvel character before Marvel was Marvel is saying mutant in live action within the MCU. Plus his ears, they didn't mock his ears, they actually gave a sort of meaning to them where his ears are pointing towards the sky. This is such, like, you know, it's like they're adding so much even though they don't have to, but they're also like respecting the source material by not, you know, mocking it, by not making jokes out of it constantly. Like, maybe later on down the line I could see someone like Johnny Storm or Peter Parker do that. Like, you know, it fits to their character. If they come across him, they're like, yeah, they're most probably going to say something about his baby wings on his feet or his little ears. But not every single character needs to do that. And you don't, you know, it's like, maybe M'Baku could have done it, right? But he didn't. Sure, they called him Fishman, but it's like, that was more of a derogatory term. And obviously when he got the crap beaten out of him by one punch, he was like, alright, cool, I gotta respect this guy. And Winston Duke's acting, like, I felt he was so underutilized in the sense where obviously they had him as the Joker, which was great. It fits with what they established in the first movie, but then that one or two scenes where he had with Letitia Wright's Shuri, and he's like the older brother figure, the emotional sort of core, you know, in a way where he's the level-headed guy, where and everything, he's not like angry, he's like, no, I need to like protect you, I need to guide you and stuff. I thought, okay, that's so good, and where, like, we needed more of these scenes. You know, obviously, like, he's very layered character from what we've seen. He can joke around, he can be serious and stuff like that, and so that's great. But it was just like, oh man, I wish we had more of that, because that was so good. I can keep praising this movie because I really loved it. I just wanted to make a quick drawing, and obviously I focused on Namor. He was the standout. Thank you so much for watching. Like, subscribe. Bye.